Good morning. Patrick is speaking today from the Dynamic Leadership Path Level 2 project, Understanding Your Leadership Style. His time is 5 to 7 minutes. Patrick has studied leadership and performed in leadership positions over his lifetime, from running construction crews and projects to leading combat troops in battle. Welcome, Patrick Locke. Leadership begins with vision. Patrick Locke. Leadership begins with vision.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Have you given thought to your leadership style? One of the key elements to even developing a style is knowing where you want to go. Leadership begins with vision. Thinking about where you want to go. Something that I've worked on for some time, in particular the past couple of years, not only to consider where I want to go, but to really understand why I am here on this planet. What am I supposed to be doing? I've done a lot of things. I've been involved in many types of projects, many types of different types of leadership. My background is in the construction industry. I spent about 5.5 years in the military. But back then, going back to the early 70s, I never really thought about what it really meant to be a leader. When I was drafted in the military, the reason why I ended up in leadership position was because I wanted to learn as much as I could. I know they were sending me to Vietnam, and I just thought to myself, I better learn as much as I can. Ultimately, that moved me and pushed me sort of into a leadership position. It wasn't well defined for me because it was more defined by my Uncle Sam. However, I learned a lot from that. Never really put a tremendous amount of effort into thinking about it back then. But as years passed, I began to think about it. I began to really consider, what is a leader? What does it mean to be a leader? And how do I become a quality leader? In 1985, I was working on a project, construction project down in San Diego. And at the culmination of that project, I was made a regional manager of a construction company. At that point in my leadership development, I knew I could put a project together. I knew I could get a building done, but my style of leadership was more of a big mouth and a big foot. Oh, I could get things done, and you better do it the way I wanted it, or else. That was my leadership style. I quickly realized, though, that if I was going to be moving into this new position, I would have to develop some different skills of dealing with people. That's when I had a conversation with my secretary, and she suggested this organization called Toastmasters. I asked her to find a club around the area. She did. I went. Here's the result. That was in 1985. I've learned a tremendous amount about not only leadership, but dealing with people, and more than anything, how to accomplish completing something. I've got attention deficit disorder, and I can get really focused on something, and I can be really scattered on something at the same time, it seems. It's a real challenge. Dealing with all of those skills that I gained over the years and coming to a place where I have understood what it is I really want for me. I believe writing down things is very important, and not just typing, but physically writing something down develops a particular connection in the brain. I've read a lot of books. Napoleon Hill is one in particular that stands out. Napoleon Hill talks about a definite major purpose in your life. What is that? How do you go about understanding it? And how do you go about attaining it? It is my entitlement, right, and duty to identify and fulfill my definite major purpose in life. I am called to experience true freedom and sovereignty in my life, and to lead others to experience true freedom and sovereignty as well. This is what I have identified as my definite major purpose in life. Why? That's another element. I'm sure many of you have heard of Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek talks about our why. What is it about knowing why? To develop citizen leadership, taking personal responsibility for developing quality leaders in sufficient numbers to gain decisive control of the houses of legislation of the several states and the federal government of the United States Republic, to cause the necessary change which will restore our country to self-governance and recognize the inalienable rights of the people of the Republic. That's my why. That's why I do this. That's why I do what I do. My vision is to inspire leaders to coach and mentor people toward compelling visions of personal freedom and sovereignty, inspiring and influencing people toward positive, compelling personal leadership development through profitable learning atmospheres, increasing awareness and inspiring action toward attainment of worthwhile desires, goals, and objectives. That is my vision. I encourage you to really consider your vision for your life and identify your definite major purpose in life. Mr. Toastmaster.
Very good description of leadership. Thank you, Patrick. A good talk.